something to wave your flag about. No, this is so they're not forgotten. I don't want their brothers to be forgotten, even if they didn't fight. The way to remember people is to keep talking about them. To remind people that, you know, these guys weren't all bad guys. These guys weren't all the best guys in the world. Some of them were scoundrels, but they did what they had to do. They went. Some of them came back. I got stories about one guy that stayed hidden longer than he fought in Franklin County. Said Captain Porter over there, he was after this fella for a long time. I don't know which swamp it was that he was in, but he never got it. And out of this whole regiment, I think there was about 10 guys that deserted. Actually, official. There were a lot of guys that were told to be AWOL, but they just ended up not finding a way back to the Army and joined the cavalry back here. I heard a story about that today. One of these guys was wounded and got all the way back to Mississippi and called in the cavalry because he couldn't get to them. They were too far away. They couldn't back up the railroad to get to them in time. And by the time he would have gotten to Tennessee, they'd have been coming back. And I really don't like to always end with Franklin, Tennessee, but that was probably the worst attack that we ever had. The last thing that we did that we shouldn't have done. When we attacked, they were in breastworks. This was in November of 1864. They were in breastworks. They were 70 in deep on the federal side. They had been attacked all day by 3 divisions and had not been kicked out of their breastworks. And we were ordered in after dark. We didn't even start until after 7. And our men were told to hold their fire because there were still Confederates in the front of those trenches trying to get in. Couldn't give the rebel yell, which usually made people leave. You know, when you did the rebel yell, it was scarier than you hear. You're not like an Ole Miss football game. These guys did something that sounded like a wild animal. I've heard some examples, and I won't give it in here, but you didn't want it being heard like this. If you heard the rebel yell over here, and it just started doing like a wave in a football game, you know how to do the wave? The rebel yell, if it stayed this way, okay, they're in front of me. But when that rebel yell went like this, you hit like one spot, and the Yankees said, oh, that's the way we're going. Let's go that way. Because there was no way to get away from it. Well, they couldn't do the rebel yell. As soon as they got close enough, though, crawled in through brush to get through it, they were noticed. Lit up like a light show. Then they gave the rebel yell, then they charged. They were 30 feet from the breastworks, and you can imagine what happened to them. They fought till midnight. They went across those parapets several times. They were the only brigade in the Army that actually carried off battle flags from the other side. A lot of ours lost them, but ours carried back flags. We lost our colonel, Colonel William Bishop, and Colonel Herring. There was only about 2 lieutenants left after that battle. And the way they described it after that happened, it was pretty much up to the men to decide whether they wanted to fight or not. One guy in the 41st Mississippi pulled his men together and said, what do you think we should do? He was the last lieutenant in their regiment. Should we fight? Should we give up? Or what should we do? And they said, till the end. We're not giving up. And they did. So until the next morning, they didn't know if they'd won or lost. People kind of kept their head down. The next morning, it was so terrible. They hunted for their people. You know, after every battle, they always did. But there were some guys that they were fought in hand-to-hand battles at Lane that they could not fall. They were still standing up. There were so many of them killed. Their guys were all around them. They couldn't fall over. Only one man made it to the breastworks with his horse. He was a guy from the 10th Mississippi up in Natchez. And his horse was shot about 7 times. And all he was doing was getting up there to go tell people what to do. By the time he got to tell this guy, you're now in command, he went back to tell this guy, and went back, this was then it was, what do you think we should do, guys? Let's fight. I always go back to the movie Braveheart. Y'all remember that? You ever seen that movie? Where they have the paint on them already. Say, hey, you already got paint on them, let's go and fight. That's the way they felt. If we're here, we're going to fight. Well, the next day, they left. He was killed at Franklin. His servant, Kim, who had worked as his handman, the guy that took care of him, helped him find food, delivered letters, clothes, back and forth to Midtown. He buried his friend George and hid him from the other mass graves. And after the war, he was able to take George Lee's father and his good friend Wilson, Travis Wilson, I think Wilson, yeah, Travis Wilson, or Wilson Travis. And they exhumed his body and brought him back here. His cousin, I think it was C.P. Lee, pretty sure, was killed on Chattahoochee River in Atlanta. His servant had done the same thing. They went back and got him, they brought them both over to have a joint ceremony in the famous cemetery there in the Zachary Lee Cemetery. Now, it wasn't the only one that had happened to, but it's the one that meets this county the most. I yesterday got to see his housekeeper's kit. You know what that is? Sewing kit. And I can't tell you what it's like when you read letters of a guy and figured out his family genealogy and read letters from his dad, from his brothers, to him, about others, and then you find out here's something that was actually his, that he carried on his person, was with him when he died, and the stains are still on it. I couldn't already talk about it. I know, just wrote down. It's like these guys have become like brothers, cousins, and friends that I've known forever. And that's the way I'd like you to look at this book. The book is about them. They retired. 900 guys went out there. They retreated from there. 900 men started. 74 is all that made it to surrender in North Carolina. They didn't all die. They went in other units and so on. But 74 actually caught the trains and went back to fight again. They were going to go join Joe Johnson and Robert E. Lee to keep the fight going. And they made it to Smithfield, North Carolina. And as they were marching north to join the Army, around April 15th or so, the guys from Lee's Army were marching back. They were marching through guys that were already retreating. They didn't know it was over yet. That shows you what these guys are like. And then after that, it was every man for himself, try to get yourself home. Most of them had to walk. They caught a train for a little ways, but the trains were all messed up, so they had to walk, catch rides. Mules were broken down, but they made it home. Now, if you read this book just for the top level battle information, these guys are only in battle. I talk a lot about battle because it's part of the chronology. They were only in battle about 25 days to 4 years. The rest of it was skirmishes and engagements, but not serious battles. Most of it was, what am I going to eat? When can I get a furlough? Would you send me a cake or a pie or anything? Some fruit, shoes, socks. These guys didn't have shoes for 90% of the war. In fact, the Yankees had followed them from Tennessee in December of '64 followed the mud and the ice. That's how they knew where they were on the roads. And you think that. These people carried letters from Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky to Amite County, and people actually got them. Sometimes they drop them off at Covington with another company, and they drop them off at Summit at the station, and somebody hopefully would go and pick them up. Now, I got to take out one letter though that didn't make it. And I'm not going to name the name of the guy. He knows who he was. He got tight in Atlanta and lost a whole bag of mail. Not only did he get cashiered, but he was not well respected cashier. I mean, he used to be a sergeant. He went back down to almost nothing. I don't know if they had buck private or less. But you don't lose people's letters. Let's put it that way. And that's where this book is different from all others. I don't put just quotes from the letter. The whole letter is in there. So you can read what he said to his wife and what his wife said back in a lot of cases. What he said to his dad and what his dad said back to him. What his brother in the 44th heard about what happened to him himself. And that's what really made this book the most important book that I've ever been involved with. And that's why I want everybody that gets it to understand it is not just a little novel. There's enough in here that you can research probably for the next 40 years and never find out all about these guys. And in fact, in the end of each one of these books, it comes from a list of one of the guys, William Bass out of Covington County. He soldiers who for freedom dared to die. They were young and gentle spirits, but they quaffed the bitter cup. For the country's flag was falling, and they fell to lift it up. And then passed in countless thousands in that mighty phantom host, true hearts and noble patriots, whose names on earth are lost. There the missing found their places, those who vanished from our gaze, like brilliant flashing meteors, and were lost in glory's blaze. Yes, they passed, that noble army. They passed to meet their Lord. And a voice within me whispered, they but march